She walks into the room, and you feel that tightening in your chest, the sudden awareness of your own breath. Most men panic here. They scramble for the right thing to say, the perfect joke, the clever line that'll make her notice them. But the ones who get it don't move, they don't perform. They're already still, already rooted in something deeper than the moment. You see, women don't fall for words. They fall for energy. The unspoken current that runs beneath your posture, your gaze, the way you occupy space without apology. She can smell neediness before you even speak, the way your eyes linger too long, the slight lean forward, the laugh that's just a beat too quick. It's not about what you say, it's about what you don't say. The silence between sentences, the way you hold yourself when she tests you by looking away. A man who's grounded doesn't chase reactions. He lets them come to him. He knows the secret. Indifference is power. Not the cold, dismissive kind, but the kind that says, I'm here because I choose to be, not because I need to be. When she feels that, when she realizes your confidence isn't a performance for her, but a fact of your existence, that's when the dynamic flips. She's not deciding if she likes you anymore. She's wondering if you like her. And here's the thing, most guys miss women don't want to be put on a pedestal. They want to climb one. If you hand her your worth up front, there's no chase, no tension, no thrill. But if she senses you're a man who has options, who knows his value, she'll start trying to prove herself to you. Not because you played games, but because you didn't. Because you were simply, unshakably yourself. So breathe, slow down, let the silence stretch. Watch how she leans into it, how she fills it with her own curiosity. The right words matter, less than the space you create for her to feel something. And when you finally speak, make it matter. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you've got better things to do than waste your breath. That's the energy that pulls her in, not your words, your gravity. He tells her everything on the first date, his dreams, his fears, how he's never felt this kind of connection before. By dessert, she knows his entire life story, his vulnerabilities, the shape of his loneliness. And just like that, the mystery evaporates. She's polite but distant when he texts the next day. He doesn't understand he was open, honest, real. But desire doesn't thrive on honesty alone. It feeds on the unseen, the hinted at, the quiet tension of what's left unsaid. The man who understands this doesn't lay his cards on the table. He lets her catch glimpses, a tattoo peeking from under his cuff, a scar with no explanation, the way he smiles at something she didn't hear. He answers questions, but never the whole truth. He's not hiding, he's curating. Every revealed detail is a gift, not a given. She finds herself leaning closer, listening harder, inventing stories in the silence between his words. He doesn't text her good morning every day, doesn't explain why he cancels last minute. When she asks where he disappears to on weekends, he just smirks and says, places. She should be annoyed, but instead she's intrigued. His life exists beyond her, and that's the hook. She starts inventing reasons to reach out, testing theories about him with her friends. The more she wonders, the more she invests. One night, after weeks of this, she snaps. Who are you? She demands, half laughing, half frustrated. He leans back, studies her for a long moment, then says quietly, you tell me. And just like that, the game resets. Because the truth doesn't matter, it's the hunt that holds her. The moment she thinks she's figured him out, he shifts. Not because he's playing her, but because he's deep enough to never be fully known. Most men make the mistake of thinking intimacy is built through confession. They're wrong. True intimacy is built through discovery. And you can't discover what's already been given away. The bar is loud, bodies pressed tight under pulsing lights. She's had one too many, her words sharp, her eyes challenging. You're too quiet, she accuses, poking his chest. What are you even thinking? The men before him would have scrambled, apologized, explained, tried to match her energy, but he just watches her, steady, unblinking, like a rock in a storm. She pushes harder. Say something. Her voice cracks, half laugh, half protest. He exhales through his nose, takes the drink from her hand before it spills. You're better than this, he says, calm as dawn. Not scolding, not pleading, just fact. Something in her stills. The fight drains out of her shoulders. She expected him to flinch, to argue, to feed the drama. Instead, he's unshaken, and that stillness pulls her under like a riptide. Later, she won't remember what she was mad about. She only remember how small her chaos felt next to his quiet. He walks her to her door, her steps unsteady. You're not coming in? She slurs. Testing, he tucks a strand of hair behind her ear, fingers lingering just long enough to make her shiver. Not tonight, he says, and then he's gone, leaving her alone with the echo of his absence. In the morning, she texts first. No games, no pretenses. Just 3 words, I'm sorry, thank you. He doesn't reply right away. He's busy not to punish her, but because he was busy before her and will be after. That's the lesson she's learning. Real men don't bend to fit her storms. They build shelters strong enough to weather them. The argument starts over nothing, a misplaced comment, a tone taken wrong. Her voice rises, sharp as shattered glass, while he stands motionless near the window. She wants fire, wants him to match her fury so she can burn brighter. But he doesn't. He watches the storm in her eyes and stays solid, grounded, a cliff against crashing waves. You don't even care, she spits, desperate to crack him. He could list reasons why she's wrong. He could yell back. Instead, he steps closer, slow, deliberate, until she has to tilt her head up to hold his gaze. His fingers brush her wrist not to restrain, but to anchor. Breathe, he says, low and firm. And just like that, the fight leaves her. Her shoulders drop, the heat in her chest cools to an ember. He didn't surrender, didn't dominate, he held space, unwavering, until her chaos had nowhere left to go. Later, curled on the couch, she traces the lines of his palm. How do you do that? She murmurs. He doesn't pretend to misunderstand. Someone has to be the shore, he says simply. That's the secret. She doesn't want a man who mirrors her. She wants one who balances her. When she's all wind and noise, he's the silence beneath. When she's soft, he's strength. Not opposites, but complements. She kisses him then, deep, grateful, alive, with the thrill of being met, not conquered, not pacified, but matched. Because this is what they never teach men. Polarity isn't about control. It's about giving her a place to land. The call comes at 3 a.m., her voice shaky. Words tumbling out about a fight with her sister, a broken heel, the cab that never showed. He listens, silent, then says, stay there. 20 minutes later, his headlights cut through the rain as he pulls up to the dimly lit diner where she's hunched under the awning. She expects pity, maybe even an I told you so about drinking too much. But he just tosses her his dry hoodie and turns up the heat. You good? He asks, eyes on the road, not patronizing, not swooping in to save her, just present. She wraps herself in his scent motor oil and cedar, and something inside her settles. This is what they never tell you about real strength. It's not in the grand gestures. It's in the way he doesn't make her feel small for needing help. At her apartment. He walks her to the door but doesn't cross the threshold. Get some sleep, he says, already turning away. Wait. She catches his sleeve. Why'd you come? Could lie. Could say it's because he cares, because she's special. Instead, he meets her gaze, steady. Because I said I would. And there it is, the quiet truth that undoes her. He didn't come for praise or leverage. He came because his word means something. As the taillights disappear down the street, she presses the hoodie to her face and breathes deep. This is the man who'll ruin her for all others, not by demanding her devotion, but by being worth it. Best men don't chase. They build something solid enough to draw her home. *ADVIC. Stop begging for scraps at her table. Build your own feast. Let her ask for an invitation.